start to realize, yeah, the parquet black color already. The front part of the parquet is very swai, very nice.
Yes.
And towards the window, hey, how come it become white or black color already? Sometimes they'll say, I will put a floor mat to cover it. I'll draw the curtain to cover it. For any builder, any contractor, TOP and CSC is tagged to their payment.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I've not gotten my CSC, let's say for the last 5 years, something's wrong.
The bank value will say, this part of the extension is not approved. Then wholesale liao. What's the Hokkien lah? Okay. So you can see, right, the kind of relationship that we have with Jake. Right, he's a very familiar face to many of us over here as well. So you see, we actually just started talking without actually a formal introduction. Okay, so first of all, welcome back again to another whole new episode of It's Team Charlie. So today we're going to talk about everything landed. Okay, so this is the guiding topic for us today. This episode is going to be a dummy guide for landed surveying in Singapore, right? And because our channel is relatively new, for the first time ever in our channel, we have our first guest. All right, so this is Jake. Yeah, we're gonna give some time for Jake to introduce himself. Okay, but we want to first also introduce, right, why are we having this episode? Yeah, because first of all, we can also recognize that landed purchase in Singapore is getting more and more expensive. Yeah, we are also getting a sensing from the ground that landed buyer, whether seasoned or aspiring landed buyer, they are getting more and more cautious. Like what Jake have mentioned just now, right? Because after all, it is like easily entry price 4 million. That is the basic. And maybe in 4 million, you are getting a 99 years. So, but of course, 99 years in a more prestigious or more well-known location. But if you are getting into freehold for your first landed, it is going to be easily 5 mil onwards, right? So, nobody want to make a decision so quickly, so hastily. Okay, so therefore, right, for this episode, if you are someone aspiring to be a landed owner in future, or you are a seasoned landed buyer and you are moving towards a bigger plot of land, whatnot, right? There are a lot of nitty-gritty details that you want to pay attention to. Okay, so let us, without further ado, we want to introduce Jake. He is a builder, a chartered surveyor, a lecturer, a father of 3. Right? Am I right? Father of 3, right? Man of many hats. Okay, just now you heard that. Okay, so he's also a business owner as well. So there are many things that he's looking after. A close friend and familiar face to many of us. Right? So let's welcome Jake. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to give some time for Jake to do introductions of himself.
Okay, thank you, PLB team. It's an honor to be here, and the first one also. I think it's a big privilege. Okay, so working with PLB, it's I would say it's a magical experience. So I think it's also very timely that this landed topic come by, and also to give really credit to PLB, the whole Chartered Building Surveying, this CBS, is also, I will use the word, glorified and magnified by the good help of PLB and the social media team. I think that's kudos for that. Okay, so for myself, I'm Jake Yeoh, Singaporean. A lot of people think I'm from China, but I'm from Singapore.
Which Fuji?
We have to go into that.
I'm from Xinhua. Xinhua Ren is also a division of Hokkien. Just a minority.
Right. Okay.
Hinghua.
Okay.
Okay. So for myself, I'm local. Then I major in basically my whole life is centered on renovation, construction, and building. So since young, I have the privilege to be involved with my dad's family business, which is also in the renovation construction industry, which piqued my interest to be an architect. But again, architect has to be the A, architect. Not quite the A lah. So I go to the B route, the construction route. I attended building school in NUS, and I graduated from School of Design and Environment, and now we call it CDE lah. So I had a chance to really master theory-wise on construction. Then fate took me to join the government industry.
Okay.
Yeah, to be in a sector where I was heavily involved with the master planning, the industrial planning, utilities planning for Singapore government.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, had a chance to take over the family business, to be a contractor builder, and sometimes life just throw you interesting cherries.
Yeah.
Over the whole course of this renovation, got a chance to be reconnected to some of my classmates. Then they introduced to say, hey Jake, why not you just take some time to deep dive to get your chartership, Chartered Building Surveyor. And it's been allowed for centuries, for decades in UK, in Scotland. But in Singapore, it's little known. So really, with a lot of a lot of opportunities that come by.
Yeah.
I gotten my chartership sometime in 2001, plus minus thereabout. And with this chartership, it becomes a honorary title. And so long anybody wants to go to court to seek for expert witness, independent assessment, it becomes that unique part. So in a nutshell, I had a chance to lead the company to be a contractor builder, and I'm also a chartered building surveyor. The handful of those who are active to give consultation and go to court as an expert. And at the same time, I'm also doing a bit of part-time lecturing, but that has really stand down because of the whole COVID situation. So it's just a adjunct lecturer with BCA Academy. Then at the same time, we are also connected with defects fraternity, especially with the we call it the absolute inspection. So we are also very closely knitted within the core family to support them. So my role here is to basically make a house a better one than the last one that we did. And then because of this unique ethos and principle, we work very closely with first touch point, which is realtors like Yeoh. More and more we realize that homeowners now are learned. I like this term because a lawyer taught me, not smart, they're called learned. A learned is that they are now aware of what the exposure, the plus and the minuses, and together with how social media is proliferating the info, people are way learned than they are 5-7 years ago. So it does help that when before you pull the trigger to purchase, you combine the experience of an educator, you combine the experience of a builder, you combine the experience of a construction vendor and a chartered building surveyor. You take all this info combined, then you have a very salient piece of info for the homeowner. Within their own checklist, you supplement it with this info before they pull the trigger. So I think this becomes a very unique set of advantage, plus point for the homeowners. So essentially, really my role is to complement the good work that you have been doing so far with whatever technical blind spots that we have encountered over the past decades.
So you also mentioned that maybe many years ago, maybe say 5 to 7 years ago, hiring a chartered building surveyor wasn't so popularized back then.
It's probably unheard of.
Or even unheard of.
It's probably unheard of,
But why is it so important to have or to hire one right now?
Yes.
Especially for landed.
This is a very, very good question. Okay, so you then go back to what it takes to be a chartered building surveyor. So a chartered building surveyor is a mix of all trade, but fundamentally, you must be I use the word encyclopedia of construction subtrades. So it's not just like, say, you are a specialist in waterproofing, you're a specialist in tiling, you're a specialist in plastering. It is a combination of all the various subtrades that will affect the outcome. So in fact, the accreditation to be a chartered building surveyor is actually to write out case study, project case study. You evaluate over 2 years of how things are being done. So in a way, when you are being put forth to a scenario, you will draw hypothesis. What is the origin of it? What is the causation of it? What is the mitigation of it? What's the solution for it? So it then gives you a very good overview. When you look at an issue, it's not just in silo. Which is what the previous trend was, that when realtors or even marketers, they look at it, it's very pretty. But what's behind the pretty facade? That's something that we need to. So I think now more and more importantly, as the real estate goes higher and higher in pricing, it's important to at least have that set of additional info. At least you identify where are the blind spots, then you pull the trigger.
Okay. So maybe how much is it required to hire a surveyor?
PRB for special price. So this is a very difficult question. Maybe 7 years ago you asked me, I also don't know that. I say maybe my lecture is this amount, maybe I go is the same amount. But it's very difficult because the rule is almost like what we call it as a surgeon. You have entry surgeon, you have specialized surgeon. So it's a case where the more you do, the more errors you meet, the more circumstances you meet, actually you become sharper, you become better.
Right.
Yeah. So broadly, surveyors, building surveyors, they go by man hours. So what is the expected man hours you're going to be investing on it? But again, if you get a junior surveyor, they probably have not seen a lot of terrible issues. Yeah. It's likewise, if you get a very senior surveyor, they're probably too senior, they cannot climb up the roof, they cannot do all this. So there's a balance. But when it comes to the hours, the per hour rate, typically, again, you can censor this, I'll see how you all but typically, for baseline, it's always $250 all the way to $600 per hour.
Okay.
Yeah. So
based on experience.
Yes. Based
like hairdresser like that. Junior hairdresser, and then you have a director,
Stylist.
hairstylist,
Director.
the director's cut. It's also similar. It's also like the surgeon, the lead surgeon, also as an assistant, something like that. So by and large, this is the kind of range.
Okay.
And then for our rate, my rate, I won't say that I'm the expert, but aspiring to be one. Yeah. So we are in the range of about 350, 450, that kind of per hour.
Okay. So you don't really care whether is it inter terraces or whether is it detached. You still go by the same hour rate.
Correct.
Correct.
Because if let's say it's a bungalow, GCB, you probably take
more time,
2 hours to walk through the unit.
2 hours consider short already.
Yeah. So then depends on what is the degree of the scope that we are doing.
Okay.
Yeah. So most of the time, to pull the trigger before you purchase, we usually what we recommend broadly saying as a pre-purchase survey.
Yeah.
So we call it a VV very quick It's a site visit walkthrough.
Yeah.
Then it's a verbal summary.
So assuming I want to make a very layman kind of example.
Yeah.
For example, Joanne is going to buy inter terrace, 3-story. Okay. Built up maybe say around 6,000 square feet thereabout.
Okay.
How many hours would that require roughly?
Generally, no more than 1.5 hours.
No more than
1.5 hours.
1.5 hours. So roughly that will be maybe around within 500 plus minus.
Yes.
We are able to get our service ready.
Yes.
So will that be your junior or will that be you?
Myself lah. It's a fortunate and unfortunate thing is that because of the accreditation, you cannot outsource.
Okay.
It's a bit like doctors, you cannot outsource per se. I think currently in the market right now, there are probably only a handful or maybe a couple of landed chartered building surveyors.
You mentioned that to us before. Actually, not a lot in Singapore. How many of them, including you, in Singapore?
If you look at the registry, right, they will say it's less than 10.
Oh, wow.
But if you look at those who are actively going to court, it's probably less than 5. But if you say those who are actively going to court and has a presence in the landed arena, it's probably less than 3.
Wow. So you're the top 3.
we are speaking to one of the top 3 chartered building surveyor.
Thank you for that. There's still a long way to go because like I say, it only makes the brew stronger if you continue to continue to nurture the whole
Yeah, actually, I'm very curious because just now, Jake, you also mentioned about like a CBS being like an encyclopedia. Like you need to have domain knowledge of a lot of different like parts when it comes into rebuilding, renovation. I think for a lot of landed buyers on the ground, one common sort of way they or we heard sometimes when we market landed homes is that they will say they want to bring an ID to come and recce and walk through the site. So here we are also talking about having a chartered building surveyor. Will you be able to share with us just very simply like what is the value add of having a chartered building surveyor on the ground to do a walkthrough compared to a ID? Because I guess most IDs are also quite familiar with like the regular waterproofing, leakage. They can also have the long stick and tell you which there is a hollow and all that. So what is the extra value add? And based on our layman understanding, of course, CBS is a very technical. There's a lot of like sort of regulations and all that. Is that where the main differences are at?
Actually, that's a very good question and very, very spot on. IDs are also in a very tough position right now because IDs, right, by right we don't talk about today or last year per se, but if you talk about maybe 5 years ago, when you have a T-shirt that says I'm an interior designer, actually
You can already.
interior designer. So I think the qualifying point is very important.
Yeah.
So for most IDs in Singapore, most of them are passion driven, and after that they further themselves, they take the courses and what. The challenge is that for ID, right, there are KPI. To make you a good ID is to impress.
Yeah.
Aesthetically to impress. Yeah. So when it's aesthetically impressed, their radar when they go to any landlord is to how do I make the owner attract to my solutions. So the objective is very different. So very much for ID perspective, I'm also trained as an interior designer, but I never say I'm a good interior designer. I go there because I want to appreciate where the viewpoint is.
Yeah.
So for interior designers, they are, if they are very passionate and they're very deep dive, they will really find out from tiling how to do the gradient, how do you do your ingress, how do you do all this detailing for waterproofing and so on and so forth. But their main objective, main technical skill set is not to understand what's the impact. Yeah. So the flow of events, it should be a case that the house is done properly, designed properly by an architect, construct properly by a builder, right? Then after that, a building surveyor come in to ensure that all this intended design is materialized. If it's not materialized, then your rectification all has to come in. That's when the builder comes. After all your shell is approved, the ID then will come in. That's how the flow will be. But because previously or before this podcast, maybe people will know that actually ID can 包括掉 嘛. Even ID can also check defects now. I'm sure you heard about it. So it is more prudent that get the right folks with the right skill set to close up the gap first before the ID come in.
Yeah. And I think speaking of that also, we're also very curious because for us at PRB, we also work very frequently with Jake. Whenever we get like listings or be it we're serving sellers or buyers, we always recommend our clients to always do like a first cut check walkthrough, especially when it comes to pre-purchase that we're doing. We're very curious, right? What are some of from your experience, what are some of the most common defects that you find that actually buyers often overlook? And it's not easily detectable by the naked eye, but actually can be a very serious, ingrained kind of foundational issue from your experience.
Okay. I think number one on the list is definitely water. Water ingress. Because water ingress is unavoidable in Singapore context. Being a tropical country, we have a lot of windows, we have a lot of rainfall, and because of the high humidity and the moisture. So water, no matter how well we do on the protection, water still comes in. But the challenge would be that water can appears in a lot of medium. It can be from your window.
Yes.
It can also be in your waterproofing under your floor screed. It can also be water through your concealed piping.
Yeah.
So there are many forms how this water can come through. So I will always recommend that whenever you see things arising from water effects. So for example, if you look at a very beautiful landed, at the far corner of your landed, at the roof, you see a small plant coming out. How come there will be a plant?
Nurturing a plant there.
How come we have a plant in the corner? But if you put things together, plants will only grow with there's sunlight.
Yes.
There's water.
Yeah.
Correct?
Does it also require soil?
To some extent, so long as a medium, not necessarily soil. So then the question is that, how come there's water retention at the roof slab? Why?
Yeah.
So the water retention then goes back to, is the waterproofing membrane being compromised? Is there enough rainwater downpipe? Is there enough chokage? So things like that, then you will wonder. So that's number one. Then number two is also on window ingresses.
Yeah.
Ingress
Window
means water.
ingress.
Window ingress. So meaning
okay.
along the windows and the edges of your walls, water comes through to the perimeter.
Yeah.
So water ingress to them. And when water comes through, right, it's very obvious because they are very, very reactive to water is very reactive to medium. So water and cement, water and bricks, water and adhesive, there will be byproduct. Yeah. So in the industry, we always lao zap. All the white color effervescent, white color effects. So these are all salt crystals after they crystallize. And this is also an effect that why is there water? So if we see a landed that is, it's very well done. I done the last reno, I invest how much alone. But the minute we go to the toilet, then we realize how come the toilet floor tiles, wall tiles got your stellar light and the crystal light all coming through?
Yeah.
Just wonder, is it something leaking within the wall? Then if we do co-mapping of the information, if the owner tells us that our renovation was done 10 years ago, And then if we see the salt crystals, then we map out. By right waterproofing on paper is a 10-year lifespan.
Okay.
On paper lah.
Yeah.
HDB is only 3 years lah. But so if you map it out, 10 years ago you done reno, now we see the zap coming out.
Something is not right.
It is
Yeah.
aging gracefully. It's aging gracefully.
Faster than expected.
I would say it's about there because if it's 10 years ago, now it's almost there already.
okay,
So I say,
okay.
So the advice that from a building surveyor will say, okay, dear buyer, dear realtor, this is something that when you assume the place, you have to take note to factor the renovation for the cost for that. So I think that's the difference. So I think water is a very, very big part.
Yeah.
And water reaction with medium is a very big telltale sign. I think by now you're also experts already lah. When we go there, you look for the plant, we look for the salt crystals, and you see water and wood is also a very big effect.
Oh, definitely.
Planks
this one.
and all that.
Exactly, we've seen how the
Yeah.
decking will sesan and walk. Even parquet change color from white to black, and the nail. All these are telltale signs. So in the perspective of a realtor, sometimes they will say, I will put a floor mat to cover it. I draw the curtain to cover it. You know what I mean? Sometimes and from a designer catch point, you say, oh, this one no problem. I polish, it'll be soft. You understand? Because their objective is to make sure that the place is pretty. Next person can stay in. But for us, we do a lot more investigative thinking. Hey, why the water can come in? If this is done only 3 years ago, why water come like that? So there are a lot more questioning and answering, mapping of the answers.
Actually, the water thing is very true because recently I was at a condo, right, and it just TOP like maybe 2-3 years, but yet the top floor owners are already complaining of the roofing leaking. And actually, the context is that condo is a very well performing condo. And only TOP 2-3 years, but yet the top floor is already leaking. So I think it's not just for older buildings, older developments. Sometimes it really also depends on the developer, the quality of work done, the checks and all that. Okay, aside like water seepage and all that, from your experience, like what would be, let's say, the number 2 top defects that's often overlooked in terms of like when buyers are looking for?
Okay, the other part is that I wouldn't say defects lah, but this is something like an inherent human nature because land is a very scarce property asset in Singapore. So they always use the word always at my own backyard. Nobody will know mah. So it's quite a common phenomenon that we will enhance the house to our liking, to our usage. So example, magically, if you look at the plans, how come there's new attic? Or magically, how come there's a new loft? How come the front extended? How come the balcony also extended? How come it's enclosed? So this is what I would say observation. Defect or not is a different category lah. Because if it's not approved in the drawings versus if it's done already but it's not according to code practice, or not according to the industry standard. So it's defect versus if it's even legally supposed to be there. So this is something that I would say that bulk of the landed property homeowners are probably unaware. The common word is that, oh, my contractor do one, I don't know.
Commonly known as extension lah. Right?
They commonly just, oh no, this one can one government don't care. So but this is where the grey line is. When your neighbors do it, doesn't mean that you can do it. This is the big thing. And even at your own backyard, it doesn't mean that you do it at your own free will. So I think it takes a bit of time to adjust it. So I think most of the folks through PRB, the buyers, they probably have some sort of baseline knowledge. Other people do it, doesn't mean that I can do it. But to the common folks in Singapore, they probably don't subscribe to this entirely lah. They will say, never mind, they want to whole row catch together lah. You know what I mean? But I think the concept, the mind shift has to be done. It doesn't mean your neighbors do it, means that you do it.
It's about your risk appetite also lah. Whether or not you are okay with that.
So from a realtor point of view, whenever we see this kind of extension, right? Whenever you go for viewing, if I'm representing a buyer, right? When I see this kind of extension, whether is it attic, whether is it a balcony or loft or whatsoever, the first thing I will usually ask the seller agent is this approved? Is this in the plan? Why this is important? Assuming even if it's not approved, okay. But if my buyer can smoothly purchase it over, that's okay. But sometimes we need to know in the journey of the purchasing sequence, okay, usually is you OTP, you place 1%. You exercise ready. Exercise ready means no turning back from all parties ready.
Done deal.
Then after that, the bank valuer will come. Then when the bank valuer come, depending on how strict the valuer are,
Yep.
okay, some of the bank valuers say this part of the extension is not approved. Then wholesale liao. Because if the bank valuer don't approve, then the bank loan cannot be dispersed.
Yep.
Then the entire purchase transaction cannot be completed.
Yep.
Now, this is where it gets tricky. The bank valuer say, you want me to approve? Very simple. You revert this part back to the original condition.
Reinstate lah.
You reinstate it, right? Then now the question is, who is going to bear the cost? Right? Now, so therefore, a lot of our team members who are a lot more experienced in this, sometimes when it is not approved, but yet the buyer are willing to proceed because the price is right. Then what we're going to do, we are going to put it into the OTP and additional clause. If there's any form of reinstate that's going to take place, who is going to bear the cost? For example, if the entire purchase price is low enough, then okay lah, it makes sense for the buyer to bear the cost. But if it's on the market rate,
Yeah.
then sometimes we may negotiate with the seller agent. The clause is going to be stated that the seller is going to bear the cost.
Yeah.
So this kind of thing, right? We when we see a lot of extension, wow, nice, but inexperienced buyer or inexperienced buyer agent, we do not know this. Then we mislook this.
Yeah.
Wholesale liao, then along the way this is going to be a problem.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Now, so on this, right, okay, I thought there's another pointer that's also interesting to discuss. We're going to have Jake to share with us what is the definitions of rebuild, recon, and A&A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Because the stakeholders, right, sometimes they use the terms very
Loosely lah.
very loosely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially the part where we talk about rebuild or recon or A&A. Like, what is the exact difference?
Okay.
Yeah.
This is imagine I wear the lecture hat. Okay, we don't need to think too overly complex. Okay.
Okay.
So from a Singapore regulatory perspective, there's
Right.
only 3 definitions. Okay, very simple. One is your A&A, one is your reconstruction, and the other one is your new erection. So the proper
Okay.
term is new erection.
Okay.
Okay, so we go the simpler one first lah. So to the first one, A&A. A&A means addition and alteration. So to URA, to BCA, to authorities, predominantly URA, they deem this as the simplest of the simplest of the simplest. A&A is the simplest. And why they deem it as the simplest? Because from a few high-level parameters is the least impact. So meaning, how we define as A&A, the area that is generated out, they call it the gross floor area, GFA, is less than 50% of the original. Okay? Area that's churned out has to be less than 50% of the original. The facade, that means if you take a picture, whatever you can see on the front, the back, the side, the left, the facade that is newly created is also 50% less than the original. And the third is that the building height, whether it's 7 meters, 10 meters, 12 meters, 15 meters, whichever meter, has to retain as is where is. Original.
No change.
No change. Then we can classify this as an A&A.
But like, does all these 3, like, example, I'm a landed homeowner, right? I just bought a home and I'm trying to, maybe do some renovation. But of all the 3 factors, right, does it mean that so long as I hit one of them, it's considered A&A? For example, maybe I'm not doing a lot of extension of balcony and all that, but I want to change my windows and that's part of the facade. But I'm not actually increasing my GFA a lot.
Okay.
But will it automatically bump it up
Yeah,
to
this goes a little bit into detail, but so long you trigger any one of the 3, it becomes an
A&A.
A&A.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So back to your sub question of if I want to change my windows. So authorities also make it quite loose. If my window size is 0.5 meter by 1 meter, you
Okay.
take out the window, you change 0.5 meter by 1 meter. No problem.
Okay.
But now you want the 落地窗, very sexy one, and
Yeah.
1 meter by 2 meter, and you change the facade, and you create the area. So
Okay.
essentially that will become, by definition, is an A&A.
Okay.
So it's very, very clear. That is for A&A. And for A&A, so the idea is if this is such a minor application, from a government standpoint, I will not be too harsh on you. But too harsh on you is also a very common folklore. It's not so true one. The same amount of government, the same amount of scrutiny, same amount of agencies has to be on board as well. Yeah. So meaning you still have to go through your official TOP, temporary occupational permit, and your CSC, certificate of statutory completion. It's the same process.
Okay.
It's just that they, instead of gear 6, they maybe gear 5, gear 4, they're not so intense on you. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's for A&A.
Okay.
The second category is what I call reconstruction.
Reconstruction. Okay.
Reconstruction is the reverse. anything that is more than 50% of the original area, any facade increase more than 50% of the original, or they increase the height of the building. So it's very
2 to 2.5, 3 to 3.5.
yeah, reconstruction, yeah. But you have to be very careful because if 2 to 2.5, your area, this one is an increase. Yeah. So some people are very, I would say, astute investor lah. They will do their mathematics with the architect. Hey, I want to increase, but I don't increase to so much. That kind of. But it's a very, if you ask me, it's a very fluid discussion because on paper planning versus on actual, there are a lot of constraints. The biggest consideration is that if you're under a reconstruction model, you need to bring in a bomb shelter.
Okay.
Oh.
Based
Cannot
on
run out.
today's
This one
regulation.
cannot run already.
Cannot run out.
Yeah.
So you see, the minute you become reconstruction, they consider a major work.
Yes.
So if they consider major work from a government jurisdiction, you have to protect your occupiers. How they protect is to use a bomb shelter.
Bomb shelter.
Yeah. But if you have seen a bomb shelter, in HDBs, in condos, in public spaces, a bomb shelter is blast proof one.
Yes.
And your house is really like that. How you bring your blast proof element inside? So it's a lot of work.
Actually, I'm very curious, like bomb shelter, right? Because we have seen a lot of condos, right? Sometimes bomb shelter is like portrait. Sometimes it's like, longish. Is there a minimum size
Yes.
for a bomb shelter? Or
So
like,
that's a good one.
Like sometimes it's like longish, but sometimes it's like
Yeah,
can fit single bed, but some cannot fit
Yes,
single bed.
So to answer you, bomb shelter must have a certain volume, certain size.
Okay.
Right? So to facilitate if somebody lying down, how the rescue help and all those things come by. So this is where the qualified person, QP architect, will come in and advise. And it's highly dependent on site plot. If let's say my staircase is here, my lift is here, I really cannot put a bomb shelter of this origin, then no choice.
Okay, so the size can, or rather the layout can vary, but the volume, there's still a regulation over there.
Yes. The total net usable area has to be following a certain code of practice. And this is where the professional QPs, qualified persons, will come in.
I see.
Okay,
I see.
so the biggest challenge is that if we fulfill the criteria of a reconstruction, by right, a bomb shelter has to come in.
Okay.
Why I use the by right? Because as I explained, a bomb shelter, if you go by building a Lego, right, you build your level 1 castle, level 2 castle, level 3 castle, the bomb shelter typically is at level 1. Basement. So that means at the very early onset, you're supposed to bring in your bomb shelter core already.
Yes.
Your skeleton. But in our case, our reconstruction is 2-story already.
Yeah.
And you need to go the 3rd story, or really 3-story, you want to go your 3.5. How are you going to build in?
You need to find where to fit.
So there's a lot of engineering and architectural consideration. So it's not so easy as a bed of roses. It's not so easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And more often than not, the thinking will be going for waivers. And we all know anything that comes to waiver is a challenge.
Wait. Waiver means what?
I will songpa to the government to tell, hey, government, can I seek your permission not to put a bomb shelter? Waiver.
Okay.
But we are all in this fine city. We all know. Is it easy to get a waiver?
No.
Yeah. So I would say that it's not impossible.
Yeah.
But it's always an uphill task. It's always uphill task. There's a lot of consideration, a lot of justification to say, okay, because of this, that, therefore I cannot have a bomb shelter.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of undertaking. So you need to be mindful. The last one is what we call a new erection. So it's very clear. New erection is very simple. I zip it down right to the core. Whatever my envelope control, whether it's a 3-story, 2-story, I'll just go maximum 12 meter or 15.5 meter, whatever thing I can play. But a new erection has to comply to a current prevailing code. 7.5, 2 meter setback, whether or not your sewer plan, your drainage plan, everything has to comply. And then you definitely have to have a bomb shelter. So that one is very clear cut. So where the confusion is that because not a lot of people is aware of the tree separation. The common loose term is that I want to do rebuilding. Everything is rebuilding. So whether is it A and A is also rebuilding. This one also rebuilding. A new build also rebuilding. So but the proper term to URA, A and A, reconstruction and new erection. That's it. So I think the critical point is to ask for you, when you want whichever category the new buyers want to do, what is your intention? Is it more than 50% of area or less than 50% of area? You see the critical point is area, height, and bomb shelter. So that's how you differentiate the difference.
Okay.
Now, so here comes an interesting part. 5 things CBS will tell you that seller agent try to hide.
Okay, 5 things. I
Yes.
think is from observation.
Yeah.
Many agents will always say that the material that the current seller is the best. It's always the best. Well, the marble is don't know from where one. The
Okay.
worktop is from where. I think this is something that we then need to be very factual.
Yeah.
And then, so usually what I'll do is that I'll be very respectful. I say I will seek your permission to be very truthful in front of everybody, with all due respect, not to demean or downplay or whatever good work that's been done. So
Yeah.
I'll always say about the material appreciation, especially materials that is deemed very, very glamorous, very upmarket. But similarly, when they are very glamorous, very upmarket, example marble, they're actually very, very porous.
Yeah.
So when it comes to stain all this, what is the downside?
Not the best.
Yeah. So something like that, I will always be the neutral ground to share my condition of it. So this is something that I feel that they will always upspec.
Materials.
Second is the previous leaks.
Already fixed already.
Always say, I got invoice, I got this.
Yeah.
So this is a very common number one common issue. So my view is that homes, they are not palaces, they are not fortress, they won't fail one. Homes will age gracefully.
Yes.
So I think so long there is a proper documentation, your invoices is really by your side or you have digital copy, I think we recognize that. And if there is an ingress before, meaning there's a leak before, a good chance that it will reoccur back. So I think it's important to say what is the maintenance regime. So now this is a problem already. Actually 6 months later, the guy is going to come a maintenance check. So with words like that, I think it's more affirming. So I'm also a bit very sensitive when before the minute I come to the place, fix already. Actually, I never say anything. You all fix already. I will then double take on this .
Number 3.
Okay. Number 3, it's on the plant that I mentioned just now.
Yeah.
So certain roofing, if you see some plants there, some say it's aura, feng shui lah. If it's at the garden area, landscaping area where it should be, I think it's good feng shui.
Okay.
But if as the rooftop suddenly got one spring,
This house brings life.
so I think this is something that we also need to be quite careful.
Okay.
Then the other part would be the termites.
Oh, very scary.
Termites is something that is, if you ask me, I think it's easily taken cover.
Okay.
So because you just basically sweep the molehill, you just sweep away, you don't see ma. So if there are pest issues, then I think it has to be raised and it has to be recognized. And do not. My view is that if there are things like that, go to the professional.
Yeah.
Don't go at carousel. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go to the hardcore professional. Pay a bit more.
Yeah.
Extend the maintenance period. Yeah. And then the other part is also the importance of future-ready power. Not quite on solar per se, but let's say if your unit is only single phase versus 3-phase, we just have to recognize, not quite from the angle to say, no, now you have the ability to upgrade power to whatever you want. So if let's say the unit is already single phase original power, it is already a disadvantage. Because to bring up to the upgrade of the power, you need your meter compartment, you need to work with LTA, you need to work with SP and all those.
What's the estimated cost? Like if I want to upgrade from single phase to
so this
3-phase?
one is a very difficult to answer question because there's a lot of information restricted. So meaning if you go to any land plot, any landed enclave, and if you just ask SP, how much power you have it there, actually nobody will tell you because of security reason. They can't tell me how much power is there. But rather they will say that in order to have this power, you need to dig how many roads. Because you need to get to your nearest OG box, nearest power point to extend the power. So that's what they can only tell you. And only at that time they will give you the code. But to upgrade the power from the nearest to your house to dig the road, usually is 9,000 to 15,000. That is payable to Akong. LTA to LTA subcon to SP, pay to Akong. But the challenge is that internally, if you're level 1, 2, 3 and a half, every single wire has to then go back to your new wiring. That's when the question mark will come.
Basically, a lot of areas will be affected, have
Basically,
to be
everything will be
redone.
affected.
Okay.
Because the wiring is different, you come in your original single phase. So the idea is that single phase, we just put like MRT context.
Yeah.
If your MRT track is the newest SMRT train like that, your tunnel is only this size. Okay? But you upgraded to very, very fast one. So it's coming in these 3 tracks already. The old tunnel cannot go through. So literally from your level 1 all the way to your almost level, you have to go back through. You have to dig through. So that is a very, very big question mark. Generally, it's always 6 figure.
Yeah.
It's a 6 figure.
Okay. Okay.
100,000, 150,000.
So now that the audiences or even the mass market, they start to recognize the importance of hiring a surveyor.
Yeah.
So for any, let's say for example, right, this I am a first time landed buyer.
Yep.
Okay. What can I expect my journey with you to be like?
Sure.
When I hire you to accompany me for the purchase.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will recommend this as I always imagine to say that the buyers are my long lost cousin. So it's very close knitted, and
Yeah.
I will recommend things that is essential. So before you appoint a chartered building surveyor, it's important that you do your own duty first. Meaning, let's say the proximity check lah, your support lah, family network lah, feng shui lah, blah blah blah, all check. Yeah. Financial clear. Yeah. Then you're left with maybe the 1, 2, 3 choices. Then you come to a building surveyor. So within a building surveyor, really I will just take whatever I know for the last 15 years in the theory, in the renovation, in the construction, in the legal course of action. I'll put all this with my infrared eyes. I will walk through with you in the unit. Yeah, so I walk through, right, is the same description I told you. I will start to look at suspicious point. From water ingress, from my waterproofing, from my tile material, my roof, and all those. I work on that. And then with all the homes that I've seen and all the theories, we have forged a theory, a hypothesis on that. Then with the hypothesis, and depending on the demographics and the dynamics on site, most homeowners are house proud. Most home sellers are house proud.
For sure.
Most of them are house proud. So again, I'm quite blessed that so far, most homeowners are able to receive feedback. Home sellers. But I do have some horror stories. So if in a typical scenario, if we are able to debrief then I will use my laser pointer, I will point to you ABC, XYZ, then we will look it, and then I will break it down for you in simple layman language, and then what does it mean for you as a buyer. So example, in the waterproofing situation, you need to redo your waterproofing per toilet, you need to spend X amount of dollars. Yeah, this X amount of dollars, this X amount of time, this X amount of legal or application, or whether it's an A&A recon. So once we have all this down, as we exit the place, we also do a surrounding check. So meaning we'll talk about where is the OG box lah, whether you got water lah, pipe lah, parking lah. When it comes from a builder perspective, what is the kind of costing that we are expecting? So when all this is done, then I'll give a summary. Like, in my honest opinion, I think it's a go ahead. Or in my honest opinion, giving that the ABC XYZ points, I think you have to reconsider. Yeah. So, but the key is that the CBS feedback should not be the only determinant. It should be the complementary to
like a supporting element.
It should be all the checklists they have done already. Then you work it out. Because they are buyers, they're also, okay, I am really prepared to spend this kind of money for renovation, for regularization, because the other factors are mega plus for them. Family support, school or whatnot. True. So I think the angle should always be a case, prepare yourself first, then the CBS come in to give you that well-rounded overall approach. Then I think it's a bit more.
So CBS should usually and preferably always come in before the OTP.
In fact, if you ask me, I think that is a mandate. It should be before.
Have you gotten requests where a homeowner comes to tell you that, hey Jake, actually I have already placed a deposit, but I went for second viewing, I have some doubts. Can I invite you down to share with me?
Most owners will not tell you they have. They will just secretly say, Jake, you come by lah. Here people you just come by lah, or PRB or whoever just ask you. So I'm also very mindful and very respectful on that. But at the same time, I need to uphold the integrity. So a lot of times, in fact, recently there are a couple of cases like that.
OTP already?
OP already, then I go down.
I 1% down already, 50,000 down.
So even to the extent some of them even say, Jake, actually done deal already, so you don't say negative things that will potentially.
Oh dear.
So that, again, not PLB, but there are some realtors that feedback that way. Then I look at them and say, then don't appoint me lah. Don't waste your time lah.
True.
Because the whole reason why is that we want to be independent and impartial. It's such that you have a peace of mind. So they were conditioning me, say, Jake, I think you. So I look at them and I said, So in that kind of instance, I will opt to say, never mind, why not I chat with the homeowners? Then I'll seek their permission to say, I'm here to share my independent view. Whatever the outcome is, I think you haven't pulled the full trigger. it's a calculated loss lah, as opposed to a full blown lah.
Yeah.
But thankfully, most of them are not the extreme case. Yeah, they all can be mitigated. So if you ask me as a building surveyor, as a builder, as a Portugal, as a contractor, right, do it before you sign the OTP.
Yeah.
You issue the OTP before that, way before that. At least you go in with your eyes open that, this is the exposure. I know how to mitigate or manage them. Then the full power out.
Yeah. Okay. So right, I think this is a very timely part for me to for me to inject this question. Okay. So now, Joanne, you are representing the buyer. You found a potential land deal. You want to engage Jake before putting in the check.
Yep.
But then now the seller agent, example is me. Okay. I tell you, Joanne, that there's another offer coming in. Okay. And it will be first come, first serve. Why? Because the price is good, the land size is good, it is a good deal not to be missed. Okay? Now, how will you handle situation so that, how can Joanne work together with Jake in this situation, right? Ideally, that Jake, you manage to check through this land first so that buyer and the buyer also don't miss out this deal. In the assumption that there is really a legitimate offer competing with your buyer.
Yeah, I think the context is assuming that Jake isn't able to go down for an on-site inspection.
I mean, he could be.
Is there time?
depending on
Is there
his
time
schedule.
for walkthrough?
I will tell you that now my offer is coming in anytime now until tomorrow.
Okay.
First come, first serve.
Very pressed.
Very pressed.
Okay.
I mean, this is a real situation, man.
Yeah, we do have with your teammates also.
Yeah,
It's quite scary. Yeah.
Yeah. So how? I'm the selling agent. Now the ball is in your court, not me.
I think my from curiosity, right, my question to Jake and also to learn from Jake is that what would maybe be some proxies or some tabletop paperwork that we can do as a first cut check if this is really so pressing, right? What are some like minimum paperwork tabletop checks that we can do, or proxies, observations of other neighbors that we can do to at least build up our knowledge a little bit and give us some confidence whether or not we want to enter the deal?
Sure. I think this is what I think the whole PLB has been doing for the last 3 years, 5 years, the engagement of cross-sharing, tutorial sessions, and a lot of presentations. I think base knowledge is very important. Yeah. Then I think the other part will be really the activation of early activation of Jake coming to site. So your scenario is outlier. Is most people, like I said, I think the whole trade is very respectful. They will not ask you to come instantly or what. But there is really a case, your PLB team, Sunday.
Urgent case.
Urgent case. Okay. So, but it was very done respectfully. Obviously, we have all our own family commitments and stuff. And we know that the most active hours for realtors are weekends.
Weekends.
It's the tombalik, but we also recognize, we appreciate that. So I think the other way to look at it is that if you can pre-plan, have the foresight, have the people reading skill that, wow, this guy very competitive. Maybe you preempt Jake first, or preempt, hey Jake, I think this one, you stand by a bit, this weekend or this couple of days maybe. I think that's something, if you have the foresight, pre-plan first. No harm asking.
Okay.
I usually unable to work on the Sunday one because of family commitment. But if let's say you pre-plan and do so, then the other way is unfortunate is that if you're going to make them work on the weekend, you manage the homeowner or the buyer to say, hey, you got a commensurate person for the OT hours. I know it sounds very dumb, you pay
but
people.
It's fair.
It's fair. So I think it's something that you might want to manage. Say that, okay, if you're coming on that on a Sunday at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m., then maybe you got to work some to commensurate the effort. So I think be very open and upfront on that. So if you're able to shift, we try. If you cannot, we paise. In terms of the proxy, my view is that all the learnings that all the site visits that we have numerous. I think I think there are maybe hundreds of them already. So if there is a very conscious effort, I think your team is very good in the sense that you do a lot of huddles and a lot of cross sharing. So if it can be a concentrated library pool, Jake actually highlight this one, picture descriptors. I think before long, you probably can have a very good library of
resources, examples, all those.
But it takes a very dedicated training team to collate, put tech words, inter-terrace, setback, put like that. But I feel that imagine I'm speaking to two of you, but I'm speaking to next of your 40, 50 agents. So if every one of them had two to share, wow, your library is going to be incredible.
Yes.
So I think that will be useful. But in true honesty, I also feel that the regular engagement of speaking is also very important. Yeah, like every month or something to have a catch-up session, even to the extent where it's an example of site survey. Get the whole team, Charlie, all come down to do a walkthrough. I said, okay, if Alfred, this is what you're going to see, what will you see? And we do a bit of a case study, a bit like tutorial like that. But I think that's the most
On the
effective
ground
way.
learning.
Because we are not expecting realtors to become CBS. No,
right.
no, it's not like that. But more of you have the foresight and the intuitive. I think this leads to something. Then you trigger the right person in the right spot. I think that's possible. So back to that scenario where, in the interest of time, I need to confirm tonight. I think the logical and the practical way is that, hey, Jake, I'm so paiseh. Do you think you can come down now? that expect, maybe you ask by. Again, we see lah. Until now, I'm very attuned to how you all work. Very ready. So I would say that you are very, very respectful of time. You are very, very respectful. So if you call me one time, second time, then you text me the third time, I know it's urgent already. So I will also do my best to accommodate. So I think the best is that if you're still able to come by, that's good. Or then if not, right, build in a condition. Some of the routers also have that. Build in the condition to say that it's subject to a CBS survey.
Put inside the clause. Right, that's good.
Of course, if I'm the seller,
subject to sellers also lah.
Why agree? Why sell?
But I guess if they are, nothing to hide and they're confident of their home, everything is done right, this will not be a deal breaker.
Agree.
Actually, this is also a sign to test, right? Because if they are very cautious of putting in this, then
do they have things to hide?
Why are you so?
And the other thing about this is that to the norm of the whole of Singapore and many folks building surveyors still be on the punitive side. Like police trying to catch something like that. If you realize, have
a little bit of impression.
Correct. It's more of the punitive, versus if you say I'm a ID, no threat. No threat. So again, I don't know how much this will be at, but sometimes the packaging will also make a difference. I think some of your team also made okay, this is my builder, this is my contractor, this is my ID. That's it.
Okay.
That's ID. Because when I go, I always wear my ZL shirt, which is my builder shirt. So we come in peace, meaning we just have a builder. That is the most neutral ground. The minute you have a building survey, worse is what? Chartered building. So the level of protection resistance will tend to go up as well. So this is another way.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. Another way to mitigate. Again, not trying to tell you to lie. That's how we package it.
Alright. Okay, another 5 things. 5 red flags a landed buyer must notice and immediately walk away from this deal.
Okay. Maybe don't have 5 lah, but if the minute we start to see like paperwork wise, hey, this one no TOP one or this one no CSC one I'm not sure what was the exposure for you all in this part, but there were instances when we surveyed the house, then of course nobody said anything lah. As we were exiting, then we can hear, hey, 这个的 TOP 没有的嘞，这个 CSC don't have. So if we notice how TOP CSC comes in, TOP, of course, the name suggests temporary occupation permit, is such that to allow home buyers to quickly stay in. CSC is when the rest of the government agencies, 11, 12 of them, all clear you. So if you have gotten your TOP, if you've not gotten your CSC, it then means that something is not right. And the worst is that you coupled with the fact that you gotten TOP, CSC is 5 years later. 7 years later, 10 years later, then it could be a legacy issue. So if it's a legacy issue, then why you want to hop onto this legacy issue? You know what I mean? So I think it's very important.
It has been passing on, it has been like this for generation or even decades.
And they have not gotten the clearance. Because for any builder, any contractor, TOP and CSC is tagged to their payment. So if I've not gotten my CSC, let's say for the last 5 years, something is wrong. So I think for a start, I know that for financing reasons, the bankers or what they will surely ask for, the lawyers also will ask for CSC. But there are instances, such an attractive price, but there's no CSC cert. And they say, never mind lah, in process getting ready.
Yeah.
But in my view is that if you don't see it and you don't have a very sound legal explanation why it's tantamount to that,
Yeah.
I think probably have to walk away from that. My view, don't touch on that part.
Is CSC really important if, let's say, I already plan to rebuild anyway? Or is it only important if maybe I'm buying like a renovated
Okay, so
home?
from a BCA, from authority standpoint, CSC means that everything you build is on standards.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, no doubt that you are then saying that since I'm going to rebuild, I don't care, I don't want CSC, never mind lah. But if even for the purchase of the unit to have funding, to have your loan, big
Loan approved. Disbursement of loan.
is very highly critical on your
Yes.
CSC.
Yeah.
It's very highly critical on CSC.
Okay.
So then, of course, if I'm a homeowner now, I don't care lah, no CSC, never mind lah. But if I deep dive a bit more, 5 years ago, that builder couldn't even get CSC. Is it fundamentally the plot has some inherent issues that I cannot solve? Then, then I have to be very careful.
And we don't know what is it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the people who are aware of it are usually the QPs, the qualified persons in the project maybe 5, 7, 10 years ago. The worst is that
都懂去到哪里了。
就是咯, the worst is that they 不在了, mati already. Yeah. So Singapore government is very open. If you mati already, right, never mind, redo lor. But if you redo, you're going to do investigative work.
Yeah.
You're going to find out how big is the column you own. Yeah. So these are things.
Troublesome.
My view is you be very careful. Try to don't touch it lah. Okay, that's one. The other one is I think the last 5, 7 years it's been more broadcast is the sewer line.
Okay.
It's a sewer line. So this is something that probably nobody mind, nobody care. But I think sewer line is a very important thing because it is the fundamental infrastructure to dispose all your waste and all this for how PUB manage. So if you have the choice where you have plot 1, plot 2, plot 3, if one of them don't even have sewer within your house, maybe that's the best case. But it can be a happy and bad thing because if you're near, it means that you have the nearest path to your discharge. It's easy to manage. And then if you have one, but it's directly in your car porch, then you build your RC trench and all those. But if let's say you have 2, one in the front, one in the back, your neighbor also here. So you know what I mean? So again, if all things being status quo, I will pick one that is the least interference to you.
Yeah.
And not just you during your construction, it's you during your others' neighbors' construction. Because this is a government asset. They have the right to enter as and when they are reconstructing.
Yeah.
So this is something that we will take prudent on that part. Yeah. Then I think these are really the two big,
The two most important ones.
in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now, so I, as a buyer, I do not want to spend so much money. So, right, instead of rebuilding, maybe I'll ask you, right, Jake, is A&A the most efficient manner to churn out values?
This is
I also type there. 我也是收头紧啊。
Yeah.
Is this a very common
This is a
question that
very
you
common question
face?
because you see, like how people think that A&A equals to rebuilding, it is that kind of notion. The mindset is always that being the least interference, the URA definition of the minor classification, it becomes the cheapest. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
But the truth is that because it's a A&A, bulk of your structure remains.
Yeah.
Right? And when bulk of your structure remains, it actually forms an incumbent. That means when you dig, you dig, right? You have to tar it. Because the things are there, you have to maneuver around. So on a grand scale of things, right, if you talk about costing is also always a ratio of the area you want to build to today's rate. So A&A, because it's less than 50%, your area is lesser. So by default, your number surely be lesser than recon or new build one. Yeah. But the effort to make a single item, the cost item itself could be higher. So to go back to the question of, is it the most cost efficient? Depends on your criteria. If your criteria is that I'm doing it for my homestay, then I think maybe it makes sense. But if I want to combine my homestay with future proofing for elderly, mobility, put the lift, it's a different context already. Yeah, to circumvent, to maneuver your ground beam, things that's under structure, you're going to spend a lot of money to manipulate that, you know.
Yeah.
So I would say that no definite answer for this, but I would recommend that you speak to a good architect somebody who is very experienced, and then explore both options. Be open in the sense that to tell your QP, your architect, I'm in between two, but I understand that being A&A, a lot of things are really stuck there already. So maybe you can work out two versions where one is a A&A, one is a recon. At least they have a bit more flexibility to take out some of the incumbent. Yeah, of course, if budget allow, I would say you do 2-3 versions. Yeah, your plot you zip away. What's your potential? Yeah, pay money lah. Of course, the architect can. To them, it's second nature because they always do a lot of versions. So to them, you do out, then you do one that is A&A. Then you see, wow, this is the outcome. This is A&A. Then maybe maybe I don't go there, go to budget maybe I do here, maybe I take some of the ideas, I park it at the A&E con.
To see if the delta is worth it, the difference.
Correct.
And maybe just as an update, right, what is the current timeline in terms of A&A, recon, rebuild? Because what we always know is that A&A typically takes about 1 to 1.5. Rebuild, sometimes depending on the extent and the scope, maybe about 2 to 2.5. But is there any changes? Is it faster or even longer now? And also in terms of the costing?
Right.
Because
3D printing right now.
3D printing.
Okay, so again, this is no definite answer, but it's a guideline for all the listeners here. Is that I'm quite sure I'll be commented that people say, no I can do. So you must understand that in the market, right, somebody can do cheaper for you. And somebody can do faster than you.
Yeah, man.
It's the same,
Yeah.
your agent fee, like that. So it's always like, so we must recognize that whatever timeline cost is given, there's somebody that will go lower for sure. So we don't go that route. But for average in terms of the timeline for A&A, the concept to get the government approval is really 4 months really. Haven't even talked anything.
And this is assuming there's no change in the requirements, no resubmission and all that.
It's 4 months really.
Okay.
So that means you buy your unit, you 4 months later you can start work.
Yeah.
So this 4 months is nothing, no man's land, You're not even renting, blah blah blah. So this 4 months, then from the 4th month onwards, then depending on your scope. So if it's a typical A&A less than 50% GFA, so you're looking about 10 months, 8 months. 12 months. So that's why, back to your point, that sometimes people say it's a total 1.5 year program. So actual work maybe sub 1 year, 10 months, 12 months. But the paperwork, 4 months really. Then your TOP itself is 1 month. So it's 4 plus 12 plus 1. Yeah. So for recon, because the area itself is more than 50%, so naturally the number of hours, number of time, it just goes accordingly up. Okay, and then for costing wise, also very difficult to answer, but I will quote the numbers that's given by BCA because BCA there's a construction infonet. Every quarter they will release some numbers. So as of the last quarter, to build they don't separate to A&A new build versus recon, but they always put it to only new build only. So to new build for inter-terrace now is about close to 400 really.
Okay.
New build.
That means they tear down the terrace and rebuild.
Actually, I'm just wondering, because all this costing, it really depends on the material or your QP man hour. Why does BCA set a number?
They didn't set a number. So
it's like an industry guideline.
No. So the crux is this: BCA being our dear authority, they put as a survey, mandatory survey, that after you finish every job as a builder, you need to declare how much space you churn out and what is your construction value, your contract value.
It's like a study, it's like a finding just to update the market.
Yes.
Okay.
But again, they don't need to see the bank transaction.
Yeah.
If you declare that your land is only 1 million, construct 1 million, they will take it as face value.
Okay.
So it's a good snapshot, but it's not thoroughly representative. If you ask me. So just to let you all know, inter-terrace is about 385. Then for semi-D, it's about 425, and then for detached is about 480, 470 really.
Okay.
And that is only on the building cost only.
Right.
It does not include your professional fees. Professionals meaning your architect, your engineer, your licensed plumber, your electrician. So those are professional fees.
Okay.
And it does not include your ID fee. So this is also a big perplex. 这么贵啊? You know what I mean? So there are few categories.
Okay, so can I say that realistically, if I were to add in all this thing, is 500 to 550 a fair amount?
Yes. It's a entry level.
It's an entry level, right? Okay, now So to our audience, this is a very important piece of information, okay? Because whenever you go for viewing, right, the selling agent will say that, right now it's about $400 per PSF, okay? Now, because again, our guiding topic, right, is a dummy guide. What does that mean? I'll let you know. Whenever we talk language like $400 PSF, what does that mean? It means that, for example, if the build up is about 6,000 square feet, okay, you will use $400 multiplied by 6,000 square feet. That will be the total rebuilding cost for you that you have to pump in, that you have to set aside. Okay. Now, there are people out there who like to quote low. I mean, this is also a way to get business lah. Then from the $400, they hook you already. Then after that, they add on a little bit here, add on a little bit there. Then for you as an owner, right, you bo pian one, you know. You already engaged this person to do it halfway already.
Yeah.
Then how you have to just suck it up and then you continue with it lor. Then you add on to the cost a bit, right? So realistically, now that you have heard from Jake personally, 500 to 550 is actually the baseline.
The baseline.
All in together, right? That's about.
Yes.
Right. Now, of course, if you want to use a better material here, there, then that will change the entire quantum again lah.
And maybe adding one more point to what you mentioned. I think 500 to 550 is a reasonable baseline.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest, I would say, consideration and contingent to all this is also on the location, the district where you are building.
Oh, important.
Yeah, you know, we talk about Singapore being an island. Some of them reclaim land. Some of this is quarry stone. So a very big determinant is also on that part. So if you talk about marine clay versus granite rock, so it's all different spectrum. Yeah. So obviously marine clay is very fluid, softer. Yeah, softer. So it means that you can build 3.5, no problem. Yeah, but it means that your foundation has to go deeper. And by sheer maths and science, the deeper it goes, the further it goes, kaching.
More expensive.
So the 500 550 is what we call a general consideration. If the subject plot happens to be in very unique clay marine condition, then you have to check out your numbers a little bit more lah.
Yeah.
So that is also that's why it's very important, right? Don't just only quote from Facebook lah, ads lah. Wow, 200 per square feet can do lah. You must deep dive to that estate, that street, and speak to your neighbors who have done recent. And you say, hey, how much is this soil test? How much is this substructure cost? I think that's more relevant.
Okay, now, so may not be fine things again. Up to you, okay, to how much you want to share with us. Yeah. Now, assuming some of the consumer out there say, 手头真的很紧。不想要 hire a surveyor. Okay. Now, and then because for all the audiences, you have also put in your time to watch until this part of the video. We hope to, through Jake, give you some golden nuggets. Okay. Assuming the one without hiring a surveyor, what will be a 5 golden nuggets that you can share with a landed buyer that is important for them, that they cannot miss when they want to buy a landed? 5 golden nuggets, or it can be less, up to you.
Okay, can. I think if you go buy a landed, the first is to see the presence of a meter compartment.
Compartment.
So this meter compartment, as we all imagine, it is where the mailman put the mail and all those ones. But a very big telltale sign is that if you see a decent meter compartment that is 1.8 meters, about 60 cm wide, then you can see all your preview panel, aluminium, then you can see your meter there. It's a good sign that this thing has been upgraded before. So upgraded means what? And all the horror stories, the cost, all this road all this will be all eliminated. So you're saving yourself easily close to 50 to 80,000. If the meter compartment is there, number one, and then you will see a meter inside. Okay. And this one is also a trade secret everybody knows. I know. Basically the whole PLB knows is that. So meter compartment is there. Second thing is that you see the meter itself. They have 8 wires coming through. Not just 4 lah. If it's 8 wires coming through, it means that it's a 3-phase power. So what it means is that it is an enhanced power already.
EV charging.
EV, your induction, your air cons, and all your fridges, ovens, all can be supported. So minimally for landed dwelling, if you ask me, you should go for 3-phase power lah. You should go for 3-phase power already. So these are the few things. And I think the other part, which I also mentioned, is if you see a lot of funny vegetation growing at your front facade.
Side facade.
So I think you see a lot of plants where it's not intended to be, I think you have to start to be a bit more
Cautious.
and open your eyes a bit wider and check through. And I think the other part is that if by walking around the space, and obviously a lot of homes have steps, right?
Yeah.
Multi-tier, split-tier and whatnot. You go to the second story, third story. As you start to go to the steps, right? You know humans are very sensitive one. As you climb up the stairs, you start to realize, how come this height like a bit shallower? How come the height of the steps.
Oh, okay.
So when you cross up and down the steps itself, the riser, you realize that how come this one I need
Doesn't feel right lah. Doesn't feel normal.
Doesn't feel synchronized. Some like, 为什么这个要抬这么高的 this one a bit lower. So if your body is telling you that the first 3 story I'm walking normally, climbing the steps normally, how come the last one I need to raise my height so high, my knee so high? Then that rings a bell.
Yeah.
So the question is that is that part legit?
Actually, what does that mean?
Okay, so the backstory is that government, BCA, controls the height of your steps.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yes. So this is what they call the riser, and this is what they call the tread.
Riser, tread.
Yeah. So this is the riser. 上起来嘛 riser.
Okay, riser.
So 上一步一步 tread. And so this is this is the riser. This is the tread
Yeah.
So this riser has a control in Singapore standard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So by Akong rule, loosely saying, it cannot be more than 17.5 cm.
Is this a guideline or mandated?
Mandated.
So it affects CSC.
Yes, TOP.
Okay.
This is level 1.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a telltale sign. If this one is because what happens is that a lot of folks, right? If you think about it, I have a big space, I have a big pitch roof.
Yeah.
I want to create new loft.
Yeah.
But when I want to create loft, the runway, that means I need to talk about my flight of steps. It's too shallow, 太窄了. I cannot. So in order to have your step, so BCA controls the riser and your tread.
Right.
They cannot make it so shallow you bottom.
Yeah.
So they have a certain control of how much runway, how much climb you need to go.
Yeah.
But if your top floor, your attic is too small, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So the only way they can negotiate this is that increase the height. So that means when you climb the stairs, how come I suddenly feel that my knees are rising so much higher? Then it rings a bell. Then you can ask, where's the approved drawing? Where is the things like that? Okay. So this coincides with your handrail.
Yes.
So under the code, in today's context, the handrail has to be minimum 1 meter. Then sometimes you hold, how come so katik one? 80 cm or what? So long time ago, the code used to be lower a bit, 90 cm. But now, if you start to how come feel a bit funny one, a bit higher, a bit lower, then you also can suggest that some of this may not be legit. Then again, back to your risk appetite, whether this legitness affects your purchase. From the seller perspective, this is additional area for you.
Yes.
But from a buyer perspective, if this is not legit, it doesn't mean more risk for me.
Yes.
Yeah, safety insurance and all those Okay. I think these are really the fundamental ones. The rest, I would say, are the preparedness of the cost.
Yes.
If you go to the nice space, all the parquet, you start to realize that the parquet black color already. The front part of the parquet is very swai, very nice.
Yes.
And towards the window, how come become white or black color already?
And I tell you what, agent like to say this. You polish hair already. You polish. Polish and everything you can reuse again.
Yeah. So the science to this is that there's a thickness on the parquet.
Yes.
The thickness is about 12 mm.
Yeah.
That is Singapore parquet, or rather Myanmar, Burma, all their parquet one is about 12 mm.
Yeah.
So every time they shave, sand it, it's about 1 to 2 mm will shave away. So that's why on paper they say the maximum you can shave only 2 times.
I thought 3
Maximum.
times. Okay.
Maybe the bugger only shave tampo a bit. So the rule is about 2 times. Okay. So if you shave more than 2 times, there is a thumb and groove setup. So if you shave more, no space really. So they will debuckle. So again, if we start to see parquet suddenly have a darkened portion, then it means that certain area from the external there's some water coming through. Then we just need to deep dive, say, this is the cost we might need to incur. What does it mean for that? So it's more of a costing preparation.
Well, just now what comes to my mind as Jade was sharing the golden nuggets, right, is that actually we have worked with Jade so frequently over here that we know as a realtor what can we do as our part? Right, because from a surveyor point of view, there are a lot of other details that you might not be aware of. For example, all the clauses that we mentioned just now, how to protect our buyer and all that, right? And it's also important to know that this lender has both obtained not just the TOP but the CSC as well. Okay, and we have come across plenty of times that we are very concerned that this lender may not have the CSC. But yet the seller agent, right, keep choke us. Hey, you don't want to put in the option fee, I'm going to give this to another buyer already, right? And sometimes we also can sense that our buyer don't want to miss this deal.
Yep.
So what can we do to ensure and protect our landed buyer over here, so that you do not miss this deal, and yet you also know what you're getting into, right? So we have both the input from Jake himself and from the realtor side, okay, right? So this is something that I think that we are very well versed in, that we know what we can do to protect our buyer, okay? Now, last but not least, to end off, we have 5 secret fire questions for Jake to answer, okay? And it will be the first answer that come to your mind immediately. Okay, 5 questions. What are your hobbies outside of work?
Kids time playing in the playground.
Okay.
Family time.
Family time. How old are your children?
They are 12, 10 and 7.
Oh, okay. So except the 7 one, the rest are actually quite big already lah.
Yeah.
What do you like to do with them?
I like to play tennis, play pickleball.
Also the recent hotspot. Okay, right. Now, which landed area in Singapore need to be more attentive when buying, and why?
I think the Tamberlin, the Juchet, Siglap area, I think to be super careful.
Okay.
Just for the sheer case of their soil condition. So I would say that spend a lot more time to get a good civil engineer to pre-plan your substructure piling system, so that you have a very good clarity of the costing.
Yeah. So even though those areas need to be a bit more cautious, but actually these are also the up and coming area as well, because it's actually a very vibrant
D15,
location.
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. What is the last course you have attended to upgrade to keep up with the market?
I'm a big sucker on courses on it. So I attend a lot of classes. I think the last one I did was on planning SketchUp. I think maybe more formally is that I'm actually trained as a lighting designer.
We attended a course from you on lighting.
So I attended Temasek Poly Specialist Diploma for lighting course.
Okay.
So I thought that was also one of the I would say highlight that really strengthen and enhance the whole experience as an interior contractor. Build that kind of context.
Okay. Good. Last but not least, how can our audience get in touch with you?
Then follow the link below.
Okay, so so for all our audiences, all right, we will also add in the IG handle of Jake, the website, his contact number, and things like that, right? So for any of the aspiring landed owner, right, and seasoned landed investor, right, you want to get in touch with Jake, all these details can be found right here below. All right. One last words that we want to share with our audience before we end off these sessions. Any things that you want to share with the audience?
I think landed home supply is increasingly getting more scarce, and I think it's good that the whole market now is paying a lot more attention. There's a lot more knowledge, but I think it's also still very important to always ensure that you engage the qualified persons, the knowledgeable professionals who are the experts in their job to come down and guide you, because it's always, prevention is always better than cure. You want to know or have knowledge of everything, assess your own risk before you make your own decision. I think that's the most prudent.
Yeah. Jake, yourself?
I think working as a whole team, not just as good building surveyors, realtors. I think the whole ecosystem has to be all progressing together. So even from the legal context, whether the TOP CSC is important, your valuer, and even the seller's agent per se. So I think if the whole ecosystem is improving, I think ultimately it will benefit the homeowners, and ultimately they will also pay more because they value that kind of premium services. And I think the direction is there already. You can see the vibes and everything is there. And maybe 5 years ago, 7 years ago, what's building surveyor? But now people will say, I think it's a very good value-added service.
Yeah.
The transition in mindset is coming through. So I think we work harder. I think the next few years will be a bit more, even more material.
Yeah.
On this.
All right. Now, so thank you for our audiences to watch up to this point in time. And if you have any questions, comments, or let's say, for example, you want more insights, you require some additional information, right? Just feel free to drop your comments, questions below in the comment sections. All right. Or even like, what is the next couple of topics that you are very interested in before you make a decision to buy, sell, or whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right. Just put on your topics, the kind of things that you're interested below. Then all this thing will be added and compiled into our planning list, and so that we can come up with more curated content that suits you. All right?
I think if you have like any burning questions about landed for any building surveyor builders, we're always happy to invite Jake for another session. We can compile all of those, and then we can have like an AMA session as well. I think that would be interesting. So just feel free to drop your questions in the comment box below.
So just now, in case you have missed what Jake mentioned, right? He don't just do landed, right? He also do defects check even for condo as well. How about HDB?
Yes, we do also.
Yes, as well. Yeah. So he's a trade of master of everything over here, right? Anything related to property. Yeah. So thanks for watching all the way to this point in time. We will see you in the next episode. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.